Good morning, class. Today we're going to do word problems connected with this Chapter 12 work on solving quadratic equations. One thing that we did do this earlier in the year, but all the problems had to work out to something that factored. So now you have the ability to solve quadratics that don't necessarily factor. Okay, so here's the basic story. Disney is coming out with a new Iron Man 4. They have to, for legal reasons, come up with a sign that has an area of 25 square meters. The length of the sign also has to be 4 centimeters longer than the width. What is to the nearest tenth of a meter, what will be the length and the width of the sign? So we also remember back to our time doing area formulas, area word problems. So we're going to take x, and then this side down here is x plus 4. So we multiply them and set it equal to 25. Okay. So then we multiply, and we get x squared plus 4x plus 25. What you might notice, hopefully, in the way that is set up, is it looks really good for completing the square. So I actually already completed the square. We took half of 4, wrote it over here, 2, squared it, added it to both sides. Okay, then we get this. Then what we do is we take the square root of both sides, remembering that the plus or minus is an area that a lot of people forget. So x plus 2 equals plus or minus the square root of 29. 29 you can't break up. It's already in simplest radical form. So answer number 1 would be this in simplest radical form. Then we need to get the answer. So this is going to be negative, so I have to cross that out. Would not make sense for a sign length. And then I have to answer the question. They wanted the length and the width in terms of meters. So we have 3.4 meters by 7.4 meters. And then we just want to check, because the one sort of confusing thing is that's a little bit more than 25. So then I tried a little bit down, and then you see that, in fact, this is closer. Now, if you could not go over 25 square meters, then you would have to have gone with 7.3 and 3.3. Let me give you a big picture approach. So the sign was 25 meters squared. Put that right here. The length times the width right here. We actually use completing the square. You might use quadratic formula. We solved. We got down to here. This is simplest radical form. And then we answered in terms of tenths, and then we answered the question. Okay, next we're going to do a work problem. And you remember in Chapter 7, these were kind of a challenging unit. I'm going to read the problem for you. Working alone, Colleen can paint a house in 2 hours less than James. So we fill in our time alone column, which we put to the left of everything, of James and Colleen x minus 2, because she finishes in 2 hours less time. Working together, they can paint a house in 10 hours. How long would it take James to paint the house by himself? So we take the reciprocal of their time alone in the work rate section, work rate column. They tell us the time is 10. We multiply across. They finish the job in 10 hours, which means that this is going to add up to be 1. And now we get a problem that we saw in Chapter 7. Remember, we can multiply through by the LCD in this because it's an equation. So we multiply through by x times the quantity of x minus 2. And we get this. If you choose a side to group everything on, I think we're going to choose everything on the right-hand side. And so we get x squared minus 22x plus 20. So the question is the a term 1? Yes. Is b even? Yes. Would completing the square be a good option? I think so. I think, though, I'm going to show you doing it the quadratic formula way. So opposite of b, plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2. Simplify, put it in simplest radical form. This isn't quite, I should write that in there. So simplest radical form would be 11 plus or minus the square root of 101. Okay. And then we get down to this, which answer makes sense, which answer does not. This does not. And then the last kind of tricky thing that you have to be careful of is they ask you to round to the nearest tenth. Well, a lot of times people would look at this down here and say, oh, the answer is 21. But if I'm rounding to the nearest tenth, I have to have that tenth place in there, so 21.0. So my answer is actually 21.0 hours. That 0.0 is a significant digit. Okay, good luck with your homework tonight. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.